Yo, YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to the Radar for Wrestling Studios.
What up, Mox?
Guys, we got AEW Dynamite. We have two takeaways for you from Wednesday night show of AEW Dynamite. 1 week before the winter is coming, AEW Dynamite with a lot of big matchups coming up on that show. We got a lot to get into. A pretty decent episode of AEW Dynamite. Not that great. I thought NXT was a little bit better this week, but we got a lot to get into. We got some interesting things going on between Cody and Team Taz, so that's interesting. Also, remember they have the issues, Darby Allin, Cody, and now like Will Hobbs is turned on them, so they got a lot of stuff going on there. Issues between Taz and Cody Rhodes. We had an interesting finish to the show. We all kind of forgot about, but they kind of brought it back, so we'll get into that. We got a couple things to get into here and there on this show, but before we do, I want to remind you guys, if you're watching the video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching the channel, you're not subscribed to the channel, notification bell, so you guys alert when new videos drop like this one, the NXT one that dropped before this one. All right, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, all the same handles. Follow me on all those platforms. Then in the description section below, you got the Amazon link. Click on that, kicks back towards the channel. Shop through there. Fight TV, order pay-per-views to there, kicks back towards the channel. Honor Club, sign up to there. Ring of Honor stuff, that will kick back towards the channel as well. Highspots.com, wrestling merchandise, whatever you guys want to buy, kicks back towards the channel. All that out of the way, let's get right into the two takeaways from AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite started off with Hangman Adam Page going against John Silver of the Dark Order. Solid match. Usually this is cookie cutter. AEW starts off the show with a good, solid match. Get the show off to a good, fast start. That's what you got here. Page got the win, and then afterwards they would obviously try to recruit Adam Page. So
no, please don't go to the Dark Order.
Yeah, do not do it. Just do not do it. Yeah, do not do it.
But him versus Brody Lee should be a fun match. Just throwing it out there.
That is true. Whenever Brody Lee does come back, I believe he's dealing with an injury, so that's why he hasn't been on TV. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool for them to have a match with each other and have a little bit of a feud. But yeah, the whole him joining is probably not a good thing. So we'll see what happens with that. Next thing on the show, we had Will Hobbs, but now known as Powerhouse Hobbs of Team Taz, going against Lee Johnson.
My man Lee Johnson, baby.
Quick match. Hobbs gets the win here. You have Taz coming out afterwards talking about the FTW title not being recognized as anything of use on the show, and they're not recognizing it as an actual legitimate title, and they're not because it's not. Yeah, nobody fought for it. It was given to Cage. It just has nothing to do with AEW. It's an ECW thing.
It's a made-up belt.
So he calls. They keep cutting his mic over and over again, similar to when they've done to Paul Heyman on WWE. Then Cody comes out with the headset on. He's obviously back in Gorilla. He comes out and he's telling Taz to leave it alone, just leave. You're stirring up stuff, and it becomes even more of an issue when he brings up Taz's son, which we had no idea. We never seen Taz's son. He just happened to be there. Now the reason was Cody says he's training Taz's son. Why isn't Taz training his own son? So that crossed the line, and this is takeaway number one. This is takeaway number one because Taz chokes out Cody Rhodes. It's the first physicality we've seen of Taz in AEW, continuing the feud he has now with Team Taz against, I guess, Team Cody, if you want to call it. But there's a lot going on here. But the issues, the thing that took it over the edge was the bringing up of Taz's son and why Cody is training him and not Taz. So shots at Taz there. And I thought it was a good segment. And, it's good to see Taz do something, right? Instead of just, being the mouthpiece the whole time.
Yeah, it's an interesting little thing where they really want to put the FTW title in a main thing. It's a cool little different thing we never seen before. We just want to take this random belt and make it officially a title for the company. I thought that was interesting. The one part that was kind of all right, you just did that all randomly because all of a sudden we talk about Taz's kid, and then Taz's kid just shows up randomly, as Taz is walking away, and Tony Schiavone's oh, it's his son Hook or something. It's all right, well, that was kind of random. He's never been there before. We never seen him before. You just bring him up, and now he's there. We don't really go to him. He has a hoodie over his head, so you can't even tell what he looks like. So that was kind of weird, but definitely interesting. It's good to see the Team Taz actually doing something, not being pushed to the wayside. They're actually in a major feud with Cody Rhodes, probably the number one guy in the company. So let's see where this goes. I know I always say that, but it's wrestling. You just got to see how this whole thing plays out. So far, it's entertaining, and so far it's good. And next week we have a fun match next week.
Yeah, next week is going to be Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks going against Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes. So that should be interesting on the Winter is Coming episode of AEW Dynamite. But guys, that is takeaway number one, Taz choking out Cody Rhodes. Interesting stuff. Good to see Taz get some action in the ring a little bit here and there. So that's a good thing. Next thing on the show, we had Top Flight back again on AEW Dynamite. Obviously, they debuted last week. They're officially part of AEW, going against the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Angelico. You already know what you were going to get out of this match. You already know. But it was not to say it was that great. A lot of big spots. Not some stuff was like kind of hit or miss. I don't think the timing, the chemistry wasn't there.
No.
But yeah, Hybrid 2 defeat Top Flight. And then you had the Bucks come in afterwards, kind of scare off Hybrid 2 because they did attack Top Flight last week after the match they had against the Bucks. So that's pretty much it. You already know what you're going to get out of these guys. Big spots, not a ton of selling, not a ton of thought behind everything. It's just kind of let's do all the moves we can and just get it out there. So that is what it is. Next thing on the show, SCU, Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, not Scorpio Sky. Obviously, Scorpio Sky dealing with Sean Spears at the moment. So he's not really an active member of SCU right now. So SCU is Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Jericho and Hager get the win because Christopher Daniels is hit in the face with the ring by MJF. Then Jericho hits the Judas Effect, gets the pin there. So solid stuff. Next week it will be Kazarian versus Jericho for the first time ever in a one-on-one match. So that should be pretty cool. But cool to see the entire Inner Circle out there and showing
guys.
Yeah. It's showing how dominant they can be with all guys there because they're like all you gotta keep an eye on all 7 guys. So it's a tough thing for any team or any person to deal with.
Should be fun.
Should be good stuff. Next we had an AEW World Championship match contract signing. Remember last week it was just Kenny in the ring because somebody had beat down Jon Moxley, assuming it was Kenny Omega. Jon Moxley at first confronted Eddie Kingston thinking it was him, but Eddie Kingston said it's not him. He has other stuff to deal with. So during Kenny's entrance, he gets attacked by Jon Moxley. The beatdown ensues. Jon Moxley hits him with the paradigm shift on the AEW Championship. Cuts a tremendous promo with a lot of fire, a lot of intensity, and you can tell it's legit and it's all real. One of the things that benefits AEW is the non-scripted promo. You can see it coming out here. So he signs the contract, and the match is on next week. Winter is coming, December 2nd. AEW Championship, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. Make sure you check out my video that I dropped, a couple weeks ago. Why Kenny Omega should be your AEW champion. So
who will be the King of the North?
Who will be, and it'll be a tremendous matchup. Probably one of the best matches of 2020. A good way to finish out the year in wrestling. Next in the show, we had the AEW Women's Championship match: Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay, along with Tay Conti. Shida gets the win. Not much to talk about here. The women's division really isn't showcased that much. It feels kind of just there. Then, as Shida's celebrating, you see Abaddon take her title and lick it, and then terrible acting by Shida trying to act afraid by Abaddon, but it just none of it feels important because the division itself, NXT reigns supreme when it comes to women's wrestling compared to AEW. So you see the amount of emphasis put on the women's division compared to AEW does. So it's really nothing much to talk about here. It just seems like nothing Basically. Great. Next thing on the show, we had the main event, and it was Pac and Rey Fenix against the Butcher and the Blade. The Butcher and the Blade get the win here. A lot of interference by Eddie Kingston, especially on Phoenix. Wow. Then the beatdown ensues where they beat down the whole Death Triangle. And then, but it just felt random that Lance Archer would come out in this takeaway number 2. Lance Archer comes out. He has issues with Eddie Kingston going back all the way back to Double or Nothing when they had the Casino Battle Royal and he had issues, but it just never really mattered that much. No. Where some people may say that, it made sense. I mean, technically, if you remember all that, it does, but none of it ever felt important. It's stuff was forgettable. That's what I mean to say.
Yes,
it was
forgettable.
Forgettable, and then it come out now. You have to actually try to think as to when this stuff went down.
Exactly.
And you even had Jim Ross saying, "Why is he coming out here? What's the point of this? Why is he coming out to attack Kingston?" And Excalibur and Tony Schiavone reminding him that they've had issues since the anniversary show and even before that from the Casino Battle Royal. But it's all forgettable stuff, so it felt flat to me anyways, because I didn't remember a lot of that stuff because it was forgettable because it's so stop and go.
Yeah, and Kingston has also been just all over the place. But he's done feuds here, feuds there. He has big groups, small groups. I don't know. It's all he's feuding with the entire roster basically.
Pretty much.
Like he's the Baron Corbin of AEW. He's just feuding with everyone. So to have him come back and it's supposed to feel special, it's supposed to feel like he's saving a day. I don't know. It felt kind of flat for me. This whole Murder Hawk, I feel bad for Lance Archer. He's been like stop and go, and here we go.
He has been.
Because if you remember, a year ago, I think he showed up, and it was pretty awesome. He was like, Jake Roberts came out and said to Cody, "There's somebody coming for you," and it was him, and people were excited for it. And since then, it's been just really fell flat. And this was like, I guess this means something. I guess this matters. even I mean, I was JR the entire time. I was like, is that really like, all right, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, why is he out there? I don't get it. Yeah.
Like, I guess that's what we're going for. I guess he's supposed to be mad about it, but I mean, I don't know. Kicks has been feuding with everybody. I get the whole roster could come out and I guess it makes sense, but
yeah,
I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully Archer gets on a hot streak. Let's just hope Archer gets on a hot streak. Him and Kingston should be interesting, but definitely not anything super special of him coming out. Just saying.
Yeah, I feel like AEW doesn't really know what to do with Archer. They don't have a actual direction for him, or stuff just keeps getting derailed. But since the start, we've harped on this a lot. I have a video that I dropped previously a couple weeks ago, what AEW and WWE can learn from each other, and one of the things was production. Well, we always harken back to the issues between him and Cody and how they messed up on camera angles and how they could have enhanced that feud and stuff like that. Not to beat a dead horse, but that's out there. Check that video out. Get a full in-depth analysis about that. But yeah, they just seem like they don't know what to do with him, and they just kind of keep dropping the ball here and there with Archer, and he just never feels like he has a lot of momentum behind him. He's just kind of there. It stops, like it comes to a halt, and then you don't see him, and he comes back and does something else. But the stuff between him and Kingston was kind of forgettable, so nobody remembers it. So me and you both are on the JR train there with that, because we didn't really remember it.
What?
But guys, that is takeaway number 2. That is AEW Dynamite. Halfway decent AEW Dynamite. The AEW Dynamite is usually always fun no matter what, and it was a fun show because the vibe AEW has, right? It feels loose, feels fresh, so it's always fun. But just when it comes to substance, this wasn't the best match, episode of Dynamite. But next week, winter is coming. A lot of big matchups on that show. Interesting to see how they make it look too, because they're hyped. They're starting it as winter is coming, so maybe they have some Game of Thrones references or something like that.
They're also in Jacksonville, so I mean, how cold is it gonna look? Really? Yeah.
We also had this was a funny spot. I want to end with this. They had Miro, Kip Sabian in a trailer talking just to show off they have an Xbox Series X in the background, because so tough to get. Nice. They decided to put theirs on TV. They get attacked by the best friends, so that feud is going down, continues. Best friends, Miro, Kip Sabian. I thought it was just funny for him to throw the Xbox Series X like that. Surprised they didn't have.
Just turned it off.
Surprised they didn't have both systems, the consoles, PS5, just to be assholes. And
there was a Lana reference. He was like, "My wife got me that."
That is true. There's a Lana reference, so that's pretty funny. Yeah, but I'm sure Lana will get a lot of heat for that and probably get thrown through a table again on Monday Night Raw for that.
Sure. Look out for it.
But guys, that's the episode we have for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for watching. Remember, sure to like, subscribe, share, comment on this video, all that good stuff. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think of AEW status right now, and do you think Kenny Omega's going to take that title from Jon Moxley? Make sure you check out that video I put about why Kenny Omega should be your AEW champion. And without further ado, guys, if it doesn't work for you, now do the job.
Later, Mark. Happy Thanksgiving.